Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Um, Back to the class. This is Theory and Philosophy of Contemporary Thai Art and Architectures, and we continue to talking about God in the city. This is like the fourth in the row right now. We have talked about the gods in the city. So we'll continue talking about this, but don't forget this is a contemporary Thai art and architecture, which is like art is in our everyday life, and architecture as well. Architecture is the place and area that we live, right? So this is the sample of contemporary design, which is represent the nation. This is national flag. This is Thai national flag, which is we have changed through the period of the time, and as we can see, right? Um, before having World War I in 1914, right? This is the national flag that Thai represent a land of elephant, which is grand and it's kind of like the empire of elephants, right? This is so imperial Siam empire, such kind of thing. And then after that, in 1919, this is the beginning of World War II. And then look at the national flag. This was changed to the period of the time. We have to become a modern country. So this is the start of the modern era, which is right to Thailand. And as you can see, like Thailand was changed the name from Siam to Thailand back then. And the colors was used a primary color, which is represent from the Bauhaus, the modern art, which is we have to use the primary colors to represent a modern stage. So right now we use this kind of flag later on. And not just the flag and colors. As we look through the period of time, we have to know the history of the world, which is influence us as ones, right? In 1919, we have the school called Bauhaus. And this is the school of Bauhaus was try to negotiate the modern thought and try to negotiate the middle class in the city. So this is the old English kind of front, which is the German government was used for the official text. When they want to announce something, they use this kind of word of the text to present this is so official, this is so governmental. But Bauhaus not just design an architectures or an art, they design a front, which is this front, try to negotiate with something from the empire, from the something that represent the modern stage, which is the use like not the capital one, but the small capital, the small letters. And look at the shape, right? This is so geography. This is so something that against to the traditional things. And this is once we become the modern. But not just that. We we talking about the theme called that land, right? And we can see like this is the world that we live right now, the city we live right now is concerned about the social economic as well. And the economic in 1999, around 2000, we have the crisis called Tom Yam Goong crisis, which is so effect about the business all around the city, the country of Thailand. And then this is making the city was not developed. Everything was changed till then. And that's the beginning of the growth of the city. We saw we can see like many places in Thailand, also in Chiang Mai. There's some place that looks like it's developed, but it's never done. That is happened on this era, like 2000 in Tom Yam Goong period. And also, as you can see, after 1961, 1961 is the year that Thailand was incorporated the country as a modern stage, and that is creating the local government all around the province, and especially in Chiang Mai. In 1961, Chiang Mai was changed to be the head of the region, the northern regions of the Chiang Mai of the Thailand, and that, as you can see, right, the growth of the economy was increasing, it's rising And it's rising all the time till Tom Yam Goong crisis. And this is the era of Chiang Mai, and we invent from modern planning, modern design. Okay, and this is this is it, right? This is after World War II, and then we have the rapid investigation development in 1970s, 80s, and then we're falling down in the millennials, and then right now we live in this period, which is like it's never um, stable, but it's rising and lowering, decreasing all the time. So this is in effect to the city as well. And this is another project which is you can see in Bangkok, right? This is so high-rise building was built in 1996, but the project was stopped because the economics was stopped as well. And this is creating the ghost story in the city as well, but in the Bangkok called The Promise. You can watch it. It's from GDH movie film, and this film was launched in 2017, right? And it's very interesting because this building, this 49-story buildings, was stopped and it's become a nightmare. It's plenty of the sad story, and the director of this, The Promise, is the same director of Let Land. And as you can see, like the Let Land is another nightmare, another ghost story in Chiang Mai, and this is the modernity in Thailand, what creates something that utopia, something that we dream of, right? The beautiful country, the beautiful family, the beautiful house, the beautiful works. But once we never achieve it, once we got broken, the dream was changed from the good to the bad. And this is modern. Create us the idea of living, create us about everyday life, not just architecture, not just an art, but this is the world shaping us to understand the same goals, right? Modernity creates good and bad, white and black, clean and clean, function and malfunctions. Everything was cut apart for two things, good or bad. And once you understand it's only good, other things become the bad, right? When you fail at the job, when you um, heartbroken, when you broken with no money, or if you live poorly, or like you don't have a beautiful house, beautiful cars, that a failure of of the that the failure of your life. But actually, it's not your life, but it's more than giving you an idea of life. So back to Chiang Mai, right? This is where the purple circle, this is the Land, which was established in 1969 and it's become the real estate village in 1977, which is back to the graph that I showed you. This is so increasing of the economic growth in Thailand. But not just that, in 1998, the economics was run down, and the Netherlands was cannot survive it, and it's become like the gold village of the storyteller. But as you can see, like this location is not far from the city at all. Look at the old city, which is what built in say 1296, and this is our school, right? CMU, Chiang Mai University, which is was established in 1964 after World War II. And we cut the road called the first circle superhighway Chiang Mai Lampang. This is the circle which is connect from the old city to another district. And this road was built in 1996. And this is tried, the Chiang Mai city tried to modernize, urbanize the country to connect everything with the road. And this ring road, this circle, was connected to a new land called Thailand. But right now we have three circles already. This is so close to the city right now. But back then, back to 1960s, 70s, this is pretty far from the old city, right? And it's become a nightmare. So talk about the seminar that we have talked in the last class, right? We try to find where is the ghost what is the ghost that you get idea from this movie. And this movie was directed by Sopon Sakdapisek, which is direct from the promise in the old building in the Bangkok as well. But this is the dream, right? This is the Ladda Land theme was creating the Ladda Land in 2011. As I told you, originally Ladda Land was built in 1969 or 70s, 77. But this is an upgrade version, right? The 30 years later, this is a dream with the class, right? So this is kind of good life that you have to take. You have to raise money, you have to graduate, you have to have a good job to gain money to live in this kind of life. And this is the myth, the myth of the people from Bangkok or from other places. They want to live in Chiang Mai because Chiang Mai have the beautiful cultures. And look at the creating of the gateway. They put some element of Lana architecture in it. This is a garden to represent this is a beautiful land with culture of Lana. And this is a dream. And look at the building, the house that the the family will live in, right? This is the house which is so contemporary design. They mix with modern and Lana style as the contemporary lifestyle. And this is the village which had the ghost story. And once the daughters, right, the daughters was get in to the house which had the story of the ghost with their friends and they see the ghost. This is the ghost that they see, right? The ghost is the dead body of the labor from Myanmar, which is be killed by the owner, and her body was stuck in the storage in the back of the house. As you can see, right? This is so crazy. This is the ghost left behind, right? But the ghost can get away from the house. Like, this is so the ghost, not just only the ghost as a dead body, but the ghost from the capitals, right? Why this girl had to come to Thailand? Because she wants to gain money. She moved from Myanmar to be a labor in Chiang Mai to gain a money. This is the ghost story as well for the social life. And when she was dead, she became a ghost as well, be hunted by the dead body, right? So the ghost is not just the spirit of the dead body from the modern. The modernity gives you an idea that your life is valued. So when you have life, no life, this is bad. So become the dead. The dead is very ugly thing, something that you're not acceptable. And it's become the visual life of the ghost, which is modern people in Vietnam, in Singapore, in London, every place in the world, which is was have the modern lifestyle or modernity thought, they will see the ghost the same body as you, the people who did. This is the ghost. But in the meaning of the ghost, it's not just modernity giving you. The ghost is something which is play with your memory, something that promise you, something behind you inside the head. So this is the way to study something which is mixed with modern and something which is come before the modern. It's called local, pre-modern, right? And this is the way that we learn about contemporary art and architectures. I reference The Ghost in the New City by Andrew Johnson, which is the he write the story of the ghost in Chiang Mai City. And you know what? The cover of the book is Ladda Land. This is Ladda Land, the original one. And he wrote about the the story of the Ladda Land, the rising of economic growth in Chiang Mai, which is creating the dream of modern, the modern dream of the city. But when the economic was right down, that's why the ghosts become. And the ghosts were used for the local to protect the city as well. So this is kind of like the ghosts were used, not just only the dead area of the modernizations, but also used for protect the memory, protect the spirit of the city as well. So when you search about the ghosts in the city, You will see only these pictures. The modernity one, the high-rise building, the apartment, which is why the ghost is in the beautiful building like this. You know what, like, we never be binary. We never said something good or bad. Once we give an idea of modernity, we should provide something standardity, providing for two things, good or bad. There's no such kind of thing in between. There's no gray area. There's just black and white. So this is creating goals as well. Why? Back before we have the beautiful building, we have this kind of root, we have the culture, right? Temple, church, and everything, which is related to the uh, what you believe, right? Religion, right? And everything that you believe becomes something that shape up the city, shape up the social. But once the modern was right, the belief was changed, right? There's two things about the modern mathematic world, scientist world, and about the super spiritual. And we live in between these two things, right? Sometimes we hunting by the goals of the capitalized of the modern world, but sometimes we hunting by the story that you were raised, like the story of the Buddhist, the story of your grandmother, the story of the place that you live, or you believing of something. That's hunting you by your memories. So this is the creating of the good life. This is the modernity set up a good theme, which is hunting you. If you don't achieve it, it's become the nightmare of you. And not just that, one Chiang Mai become the place for tourism. All around the place in Chiang Mai was creating for something called business, right? The tourist business, creating many places in the city become where to travel, where to live as a visitor, where is a hotel, where is a place of sightseeing. But every place not beautiful like that. They have some of dark area, which is plenty of the labor want to gain money there. And this is the street called Loi Kok. Loi Kok is the street connect from a night bazaar to an old city, right? An old city and night bazaar was connect as the tourism. Many people come to Chiang Mai. They have to travel around the old city and travel buy some souvenir from night bazaar. But the way that connect to old city to night bazaar, they have the small street, and out of the way is not. It's never creating for the main exit, the main entrance like Tapak Gate that I have talked. This small street become a tactic of people who gain money from tourism. So they're creating some massage area, some prostituting area, some beer bars area, some boxing area. And this is the gray area, which is not that made from government, not made from the business, but the tactic of people who think that this is the place for good to have the business in it. And the local area, not just one street, which is appear in the city. They have plenty of the small street connect to the the place that bright white for travel for the spotlight of the city, and it's getting dark, and the dark creating some tactic of the city. And back to the story of the ghost, right? As I told you, the the final of the scene, the final of the movie, the father who creating ghosts in his mind. He never believed about the dead body story from the neighbor. He never believed in the ghost. But once he got heartbroken from the families, they had to divorce. He have to he fell off the financial and about the shines. So he get a nightmare. He's hunting by the money dog. And this has happened in Chiang Mai as well. In 1998 to Tom Yam Goong in early 2000, there has many building was created for real estate, but it turned out to be overran. It's it turned out to be like abandoned building like this one, but right now it's come back, right? And also Lataland is one of the case as well, which was be left behind. And this is Chiang Mai city. And gold in the Chiang Mai city was some place which was not developed, or also was developed but never complete, and it was teared down by the economic growth. So this is old city, right? The old city is the center of the city. Chiang Mai was created as the old cultural historical city. This this yellow part, this is the center of the city, was protecting the goals of the city by the local and the government. But once we creating the first circle to connect the old city with another district, right? This become the city, and suburban was creating, spreading to other angles, right? And this what cut an area of the city to become city and suburban. And not just that, this is the Pink River. I use blue pen, okay? This is Pink River was cut the city in the old time. But Siam in 1960, right? They're creating something connect to the province in Thailand called train system. Train system was there, was in the red light, right? The train system, train station was here. So Siam was creating the street called Chiranthanin, Chiranthanin, Tha Phe, Rachadamnern, to be the exit of the city. Approach the city from the east to the west, and this is the Pratat, the temple in the mountain, which is will represent Chiang Mai in this kind of from the east to the west side. But actually, Chiang Mai was created by the human body, right? And we have 5 gates. The first gate is the gate from the north. This is Chang gate. And the gate from the north is the main entrance. But it was changed later to Tha Phe gate because Siam or Bangkok was changed the city center. So Tha Phe gate was become the main entrance back then. But I want you to understand this, right? The first circle that I told you was just built in 1996 to 98. And the street which is connect from the train station, right? The Chiranthanin Road. This was built in 1961 around. So as you can see, like the place in Chiang Mai was developed in many places. Once this circle was created, Niman Hamin and Maya intersection was developed to the modern city. So in uh, after 2000, Niman Hamin and Maya area was become new CBD because people was used the first circle to come to Chiang Mai, not just come Chiang Mai by train station. Okay, this is the dream of the Chiang Mai, but we will talk about the goals of the Chiang Mai. Okay, this circle road cut the city, connect the train station and also airport, right? And this is the city center. But as I told you, it's provide to many suburb with the street, right? These they have an area inside of the city gap, and this area is interesting because inside of the area is for all communities. This was temple culture inside of the real city that I just covered, right? And we just developed the from the top down, from the street, from the road. So right now, I will give you 3 places to study. The first one is called Santitam. Santitam is an area which is what cut by the first circle of the city, right, and connect with Huigel Road and connect with the Chiang Mai Road. This number one is Santitam area, which is inside. They have the Santitam temple as well, but it was cut to become the gap of the city, and it's plenty of the local communities and also modern community right now. The area number two that I will give you, this is the code, another code in the city as well. This is another part of Chiang Mai from the northeast, right? This is called Chang Pheur. Chang Pheur it used to be the main bus terminal, and it's plenty of abandoned temple and many area in this area as well. But right now, is they have like Jinjai market and they have free market there, so you can learn about that. And the last one is a very small one. It's between the old city, Tape Road, and Ping River in the red one. It's number three, called Chiang Mai. This is a small community, small area, but plenty of local craftsmanship. And right now it's become the creative city. So with the modernization, it was developed the city to be a dream of modern, but it was cut apart the localism inside, the lifestyle, they're creating the modern goals, but the local goals were trying to protect something inside of this as well. This is become the contemporary art and architecture that you will study as individual. Okay, we have three classes to learn about Chiang Mai in terms of contemporary art and architecture. So this is pre-final assignment. I want you all show just one district that you're interested, or you have been, or you have the story about it. Show just one. The place that would be hidden from the urban development in 1961 and 1996. They have Chiang Mai, Chiang Pheur, and Santitam. You just chose one district with your reason, and then jumping to understand it from the Google Map, Google Earth, or any GPS mapping network data from the internet, and try to look on the area, look on the building, and then you just chose one area or one building. If you're interested about the garden, you could say it as an area. You're interested about the flea market or the food street, that's an area of the city. Try to select one area or one building in that district that you chose. But the district or the building that you chose have to appear a present lifestyle. Like in everyday life, still people still use it in everyday. And the topic is anything that you're interested in, right? So you just send me the district that you chose. You just chose an area. This is a city gap of the urbanization in Chiang Mai, Chiang Mai, or Chiang Pheur, or Santitam. And then you zoom into that area and then just shows one area or one building, which just have the present lifestyle in there. And you tell me why you choose this one. Send it to the mail and then present it on the Monday. So this will set the topic of your final assignment. Okay, so I guess this is it for the class. So happy New Year to you. I guess you have the good New Year. I will read. So 新年快乐, happy the Chinese New Year, and also like this is a good start, right? We do start of the year as well. Yeah, I can not wait to see your works. And then if you have any questions or you're unclear about the topic, you can ask me on WeChat as well. So that is for the class. See you on Monday. On Zoom. Bye bye.